Hello, welcome back to Vena Talks. Thank you for joining us today. If you're new here, kindly subscribe, like, and share our content. If you're returning for the second or third time or fourth, thank you very much for tuning in with us and growing with us today. Today, we're going to talk about setting a strong foundation with your finances. This is very important, especially for us, the millennials and the Generation Z. We are losing it, especially when it comes to our finances. A financial foundation is something that takes time, and it's something that you need to be working on while supporting your future goals. It's not something that you need to just have it ready. It's something that you get to have ready as time goes on. But it starts with your habits and your routine that you are setting today. So if you have good habits, if you're going to set good habits today, then your financial foundation for the future will be so great because you're going to reduce so many things and you're going to save so much money and so much property that you could actually have for the future. So set a strong foundation for your finances. It is very important. I know you might see my hair today and you get to see it in the store and you're like, I'm going to buy that hair like Veronica. Don't do that. If it's not in your plan, if it's not in your budget, if it was never in your future plans, don't buy it. No matter how pretty this hair looks, don't buy this hair if it's not in your budget. You need to have a structure in place. It's quite straightforward. You need to have a structure in place. You could have a budgeting plan, a financial plan. Whatever you have, just have a basic structure to actually cater for your finances and to keep track and record and to have a good clear checks and balances as to what you are using your finance for and just to have accountability towards yourself with your finances. I am not a certified financial planner, but I am a human being, and we are the very people who deal with our finances. So, the advice that I'm going to give you is the advice that I will do for myself too. The very first thing when it comes to setting out your finances, you need to be organized. You need to organize yourself because when you're organized, you are systematic, you know exactly where you're going, you know exactly what you want to do, and you know exactly how you're going to do it. So be organized. Organize your finances. You know how much you earn monthly, you know how much you earn annually, so you'll be able to plan your finances just as you want them to be and to cater for you and for you to be held accountable for. So, first thing first, if you know you cannot stick to your financial plans, try to get a financial coach, okay? Or advisor if you can afford them. But honestly, organize yourself. One thing I like to do is I set out my expenses, I set out my liabilities, my assets, and my savings, and an emergency fund, and all that. I'm 26 now, and obviously you get to save. I don't know what age you are, but if you are 26, 27, 30, I don't know what age you are, but any age where you feel like you can start saving for your future, just do it right away because it's never early, but it could be too late to start saving, okay? Because as you grow, you want a stable life, you want to buy a house, you want to buy property. And sometimes the bank might not give you all those things, or you might not have enough money to put down for down payment. You need to put down a large deposit for certain things. So you need to actually make sure that you're organized. If you want to own a house by 30, make sure you are saving accordingly. So when you turn 30 or 35 or 40, you have a great down payment and the bank won't turn you down. And you are also going to have good credit because you're not going to misuse credit cards. When you just stay organized, you just know that I am not going to do anything outside of my financial plans. And that's how you get to create a financial foundation for your future and for your present. And it starts with you now. So you become organized. You can have your personal spreadsheet. You can do it on Excel. If you know how to use Excel, you can literally do your spreadsheets there and just keep track of what you are doing, and it will like add up the amounts that you are using. So if you know that you used to live above your means, now it's time to actually start living within your means. doing things cheaper than the normal price. You just need to stick to the plan instead of buying that expensive, I don't know, expensive yogurt. Okay, I like food and I really like yogurt, but should I really sacrifice my favorite yogurt? But I'm just saying, it's not that you need to buy it every time, but you can learn to compromise. Financial foundations need to be something that come up from compromise. If you don't compromise, what's setting you back, and then you are not gonna move forward. So you need to be very strong in your goals and become organized. Set a vision board or vision plan. I don't know how you do it. Just even give yourself goals, dreams, and write them down. Like I said, if you want to own a car by next year or the next 6 months, and you know your salary can give you that within the 5 months, please save that 10,000, or by the end of the year, you're at least going to have 100K. Then you can have it as down payment, or you choose to buy a second-hand car cash, which I think is a good idea. When you're buying your first car, advisable you buy first hand. No, you buy second hand, because it will be much better and easier to transition to your dream car, at least. Unless you're buying a dream car already at first, but if you're like some of us who are still working on buying our true dream cars, then getting a second hand first car is the good idea, and you buy cash, and it's not gonna take you 5 years to pay with through the bank or something like that. You just save up and get ready to pay in cash, and you are ready. And then the second step, after being organized, you need to set yourself up for safety. You need to protect yourself. You need to protect yourself from financial failures. Things can just crumble. You can lose your job. Your business can go like down spiral. It can just go down, and you won't be getting income anymore. So you need to protect yourself very hard. So you need to make sure you at least have insurance for some of your stuff, because I mean, it's life, anything can happen. Vice measure, unforeseen things, natural disasters. So you never know that your house could burn down, your car could burn down, and if it's not insured, and then that means now you're going to take all your savings to actually repair the car or something like that. So you need to set yourself up for success if you ever have to have a good financial foundation, and you need to have an emergency fund. A lot of us go wrong when we don't have an emergency fund, and I think this is what is lacking mostly in our community. Most people don't have emergency funds. People have savings, yes, but they don't have an emergency fund. They think savings is to cater for all the unforeseen circumstances, but savings was supposed to be for your future and for things that you want to achieve, not for expenses that come unexpectedly. So please, an emergency fund is very important, and you can make it at least 15% of the amount that you get monthly, depending on the number of, depending, yeah, you need to, yeah, depending on the amount of expenses you have, just is the right way to measure your emergency fund. Just a lot of how many assets you have, liabilities, are those assets insured or not? How the well-being of your family, the well-being of yourself, just have an emergency fund. You can cater for your hospital bills, can cater for death in the family, you can cater for things being broken in the house. Pipes can get blocked, and you just don't know where to get that 30,000 or that 10,000 or that $900 to fix the pipe that is broken in your house, the plumbing. So you really need to like create an emergency fund where you can go to for emergency expenses. They're expenses because they come and take your money. So if you're telling me you have savings but you don't have an emergency fund, then I don't know really what you're saving for. Are you saving for natural disasters? Are you saving for other people to have problems and come to you for help? What are you actually saving for? I know we live by faith, and we are told to, act in faith and believe that nothing bad will happen to us, but that is not an emergency fund it's doing. An emergency fund is not there to take away your faith. You will still be faithful, but you just keep knowing that God is a God that can do just about anything, and anything can really happen. Both the possible and the impossible. So you just need to cater for things that might happen for other people but affect you also. Like a friend could lose a loved one, and you need to at least, give your friend some money. Or a friend could be getting married unexpectedly, and you need to bring money. Your friend can have a baby, and you need to throw a baby shower. You need money. So when you have all that in your emergency fund, and you don't need to take out of your savings, that's going to help you create the financial goals that you actually want to for yourself. Because if you plan that by end of the year I should save up 50,000, and you have an emergency fund that you put 2.5 after 3 months, even if the slightest of things come up, at least you have that money to actually cater for the expenses and not to touch your savings. And end of the year you'll still have your 50,000 untouched. But if you just save that 50,000, and it's what you have, anything that comes, you're obviously going to withdraw it from your savings. So please, guys, we need to create emergency fund. Define your financial goals. You need to define what you actually now want. When you define your financial goals, you are going to go in the direction that you actually want. As I already spoke about, setting emergency funds, insurance, to decide what you're leaving behind and for whom. Wills are very important. Define your financial goals. You need to know what you want right now and in the long term. So define your financial goals. If you want to own a helicopter in the future, in the next 5 years, make sure you are planning around that. If you want to be able to take your children to private school and they are 5, plan around that. If you want to be able to, own a company or whatever you want to buy or purchase something, plan around that. Just set financial goals. It's very important, and this is what is going to gear you up. I believe people who don't have financial goals don't save up for anything, because you can't save for what you don't see or don't want. I mean, you are very susceptible to, misusing your finances when you don't have financial goals. Make sure that they are solid and you actually want to achieve them. Make sure that you are trusting your financial goals, that they are going to give you a better future or a better present. What's so wrong about creating financial goals that will cater for you now? If you want to be financially stable by next week, you might as well start saving whatever dollar you get. And I see people are having these piggy bags that they actually open end of the year, and they get to have a lot of money. So you can start by putting $10 in your piggy bag every day, and you only open it end of the year, and that is a financial goal. And then you be saved from so many things during the holidays, from Christmas food to buying Christmas gifts. You are literally financially stable. I think we all want to be financially stable, but we don't want to take steps that will help us to become financially stable. So financial goals and actually being ambitious of what you want to achieve in life will keep you going, and will let you know when you are not being real to your finances, because it will give you accountability. If you don't have financial goals, accountability is not there. But if you do want something in the next year and you end up not getting it, you hold yourself accountable to your bad habits of what you were doing that made you not achieve that goal. So set financial goals, please, okay? You need to prioritize debt reduction. I don't know why people like debt. No, debt is good when it's going to make you more money. But if debt is making you lose more money, then don't use debt. It's just common sense. I would want to use other people's money just to become rich, and give it back as exactly that amount, maybe with a little bit of interest. But if I'm really taking debt just to show off how cool I can be, what car I can drive, what house I can own, then I'm pretty much fooling myself, because I think there is no person who sleeps less peacefully than somebody who is not being themselves, or not being the image they portray to the public. Because every time you're wondering, how am I going to be tomorrow? How am I going to impress this person tomorrow? If I buy this $50,000 handbag, is it gonna impress people? Trust me, won't even know. These days, there's no difference between designer original and designer fakes. Unless I really went to a school of designer wear, and then I would know the difference. But I don't, and we don't care. So please reduce your debt. Don't go in debt for us, because we don't care. You can look nice for the day, but I'm not gonna daydream about how nice you look. Of course, unless you're like the love of my life or something. Whoops. But I'm just saying, guys, we don't care. Don't go in debt for us. Just reduce your debt. Just tone it down. Whatever you do, tone it down. Don't be scared for people to think you are no longer the slave that you used to be. If the slave is reliant on the clothes you wear and the hair that you put on, then I don't know. It's just an expense, an expense really. But if you can slay with what you have without going beyond and above, then you are doing great, honey. You are meant to slay. But if you are going above and beyond to slay, and you're getting in debt for it, then darling, the slay is not for you, period. Understand it. The slay is not for you, because when you slay, you must also be financially slaying. And when you don't financially slay, you're not happy. So what are you actually showing us? Fake happiness is not good. Not good for you, and not good for the public, because you're gonna make other kids get into debt just because they think they are being left behind by certain people who are lying to us. So please reduce debt. Don't use credit cards. If by any means you can reduce late buying in shops. If it's something simple, and you don't have the cash for it, sometimes just leave it. Sometimes just that just means you're going to find something better the next time you have the money for it. But if it's urgent and you really like it and you think you can afford it, and it's not going to mess with your financial goals, then get it on lay-by. But otherwise, reduce debt, please. Reduce it. You don't want to be this person by end of the month when the salary comes in. Even shops for underwear are calling you to come pay off the debts. Please. Nobody can see your underwear. Yeah, unless other people are seeing it, but why should they care about it so much? You know? So please, the little things must be bought in cash. Don't buy small things that are like phones. Okay, why would I want a phone on lay-by? I think it's a waste of my time. If I can't afford the phone, I must just not buy it. But I'm not gonna be having an expense for the next 24 months. A phone that I could lose, a phone that could break, a phone that I won't love after a year. No, man, guys, let us reduce that, please. Reduce that and don't focus on impressing people unnecessarily. And the very last is just make it happen, just be disciplined enough to know what you actually want. And honestly, no matter how much I'm going to preach about setting a good foundation for finances, it's just a matter of how badly you want something. Because if you really want a house in the next 5 years, you're going to know that you are saving 50% of your salary, of your income, daily and monthly, to make sure that you actually get to buy that house. So it's all about how much you badly want it. If you don't want it as bad, obviously anything can just come sweep you off your feet and drag in another direction, and you mess up your financial foundation. But if you are disciplined enough to want certain things and to really work towards them, you are going to achieve great things, and actually great things that you want. It's just not a matter of achieving stuff, but you're going to achieve things that you really want. So it doesn't help me preaching about how much you should avoid debt, how much you shouldn't impress people unnecessarily, how much you should be disciplined and be organized, how much you should set emergency fund or insure your things. It's just, I cannot do it for you. It's all within you. It's right here. So you really need to change your mindset for you to be financially free. Financial freedom comes from setting the mindset that really gets you forward and moves you forward. So even if I'm talking to you today, saying the most smartest things, I would rather emphasize on change your mindset around finances and set your financial goals on things that you actually want. You cannot be saving for nothing. You need to have a plan as to what you're saving for. You should be very specific, because if you're not specific and your friend calls you today and say I want to buy a farm, and you are going to spend your money on a farm that you don't even know if it's gonna bring you profits or not. But if you know that I want to buy a farm and I'm going to buy some cattle, and this cattle is going to multiply by reproducing many more cows, and then that is a plan. So when you don't have a plan and you are saving, anything can come sweep your foot. Forex traders can take all your money. I don't know, just anything. If just have financial goals, please. That is what I'm leaving with you today. I'm not here to talk smart today. Just have financial goals and work towards them. Just work towards your goals. That's it. I have said you must be organized. You must be set financial uh, goals. You must prioritize reduction of debt, and you must set emergency funds to protect yourself, and you should have insurance and all that. So all that comes from knowing what you actually want for yourself. So today, have financial goals, work towards them, and be disciplined enough to achieve them. So thank you very much for tuning in with Vena Talks. I hope to see you again some other time, which is very soon. Thursday will be it. Thank you very much for tuning in with us, and have a lovely day. Cheers.